So I know that I'm working on a tractor, but this electrical system, the battery, the wires, and the starter is applicable to any vehicle and any piece of yard equipment that has a starter and a battery. Say if it's a lawnmower, a little yard tractor, full-size tractor, bulldozer, anything that's got a starter and a battery, these connections are equally as important. So don't detract from the value of this video based on it just being a tractor. Alright, so watch and enjoy. Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about batteries, starters, and the cables that connect them. Sometimes you may feel like your starter's getting weak or your battery's getting weak, but sometimes it could just be a bad connection. So this morning we have my tractor here, doesn't want to start. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you what it does, and then we're going to check the voltage at the battery. So as you can see, it won't turn over fast enough to start. Usually that might be a battery or a starter. So we're going to check the voltage at the battery. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your voltmeter, set it to volts DC, VDC, and then we're going to put the black lead on our negative battery terminal and the red lead on our positive. We can see that we're getting 12.4 volts. So that's a good voltage reading on this battery. Normally anything above, say, 11.5 usually is indicative of a good battery. Next thing we'll do is we'll check our voltage at the starter. Alright, so here's our starter, and this is our battery wire coming down from the positive side of the battery. And then this wire here is a ground. You can see that it just grounds out on the body here. And it doesn't look to be in the best of shape. We'll set our voltmeter back to volts DC. We'll put one probe on ground, one probe on our positive lead coming in, and we have 12.4 volts here as well. There we go. So we have continuity all the way down here, so that's good. We can put our voltmeter away at this point. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to check and see if these wires are tight. That one seems to be fairly tight. We've got some split ends down on the other end of it, as we noted already. This one, oh, that one's a little loose, so that's going to need to be tightened up. Check our terminals here as well. That one's tight. That one's tight. So we see that this terminal needs to be tightened up. And another telltale sign of that, you can also, after trying to start it a few times, you'll notice that these loose connections like this, or if there's a lot of corrosion, you can feel the wire and feel the heat coming off of it. And you may even be able to see it. I tried that earlier and I had a little bit of steam coming off of there. But as you just saw, just from wiggling these wires around a little bit, it almost started. So I'm going to take this connection completely loose. Before I do that, I have a high chance of grounding out on anything that's part of the body. I need to disconnect one side of the battery up here. You see, this is not a real good connection here anyway. So I'm going to take this apart. That way I can clean it when I put it back together. This is the negative side of the battery. You can disconnect either side. It's usually best, though, start by disconnecting the negative side of the battery. Gives you less of a chance of grounding out on something. Alright, that's disconnected. I have no chance of arcing out while I'm working on stuff. So we're going to completely disconnect this. This is where the positive end of the battery cable gets to the starter. Nut, lock washer, remove our cable, remove these other accessory cables as well. And now we're all the way down to just the stud, and there's one more nut, so I'm going to make sure that it's tight. See, it's actually kind of loose. That may be part of the problem. That's nice and tight now. I'm going to take this steel brush and rough up some of these surfaces to make better contact for the electrical. Actually, I'm going to start by putting the main power cable on first. That way it's closest to the starter solenoid, and hopefully we'll have the best contact possible. I'm going to clean up this connector here. Alright, now we'll put this one back on first. Next, we will clean up our alternator lead. This one doesn't look too bad. We'll place it back on there. And last, this is an accessory lead for some of the onboard electronics. We'll clean it up as well. Put it on there also. Next we have our lock washer, which I'm going to clean this up. Alright, paint's not a good conductor, so scrape off as much as you can. You really just want clean bare metal. Then we'll put that back on. The last piece we have is the nut, so we'll clean that up as well. Brush, brush, brush. Now we'll thread our nut back on, lock washer, and the nut. Tighten it up. There we go. Make sure it's tight. Yep. Everything's nice and tight on there. Make sure that our negative terminal's tight as well. Yep, that's tight. So we're going to leave that alone for now. But we will go ahead and clean up our negative terminal here. Back down to bare copper. Now this would be much better if I had a real terminal on here, but for the time being that's not going to happen. Probably going to end up getting all new cables made for the tractor one day. On the to-do list. Clean that up, and we'll clean this up. Nice and tight. So let's see if it starts. All right. So the moral of the story is to always check your connection before you declare a faulty battery or a bad starter. Have to go and run and grab your jump pack. Check your connections and make sure that everything is clean and tight, and that may just solve your issue and cost you no money. Thanks for watching.